Welcome back to Giggle and Grow
with Courtney
and Morgan.
It's summer.
It's summertime and it feels so good, guys. The sun's shining is shining and the vibes are vibing.
We are here. We made it to summer and we are excited to be back and talk to you all about our summer bucket list and what we have planned and some tips and tricks for you guys this summer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yay. Morgan, kick us off with some unique destinations that, one, we have planned, and two, we'll just start with the unique destinations that we have planned.
I'm down. So truly, I am so excited for what we have upcoming this summer. We are actually going to be starting our first trip here, going to Moab in Utah. I have never been, but only have heard amazing things about it. I mean,
I've never been. I used to live in Utah for a little bit, but never been. So all of our people that live in the West, and you know about Utah and you know Moab, tell us about it. We want to hear.
We need to know all the secrets and tips for this event coming up because I feel like there is so much to do and we have very little time.
Yes, very little time. Actually, one of the tips that we suggest to you guys is when you're planning vacations, because we all know that PTO and taking time off is like pulling teeth with some corporations. And they're like how a lot of these corporate companies are like, you have unlimited, but you must request and you must ask your boss and you have to get this. And it's like, okay, just put pressure on me.
Yeah.
And so what we say is make it a long weekend. Try and leave Friday afternoon if you can, take half days and make yourself use your entire weekend and find somewhere that's like 3 to 4 hours away from you that you can really like get out and away from where you're at and feel like you're actually taking a vacation.
I totally agree with that because I think often we feel like a vacation has to be this 7, 8, 10-day ordeal, but sometimes all we need is just that little weekend getaway. And if you go far enough out from where you are now, it does truly feel like you're going on a vacation, a special little getaway, right? So I found this out especially after college when I was trying to meet up with my friends and trying to figure out where we should go for the year, what we should do. I often found that it was, truly best to leave on a Friday, come back on a Monday. It wasn't too long, wasn't quite too short. It was kind of that perfect time. Honestly, flights tend to be a little bit better that way too if you're looking far in advance. So
yeah, I actually just got back from the 150th Kentucky Derby, everyone. And that's kind of what I did. I took a little bit longer off, but typically when I take time off, I never take a full week. I took 3 days off. And so I get to go into the office, get a couple of things done that Monday and Tuesday. And then, I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it was quite a bit, but that's my hometown. So when I visit and go home, 4 or 5 days is enough for me.
Now, how is a Kentucky Derby? I feel like, growing up in Iowa here, I thought we would be all about the horse race and the cows. All Farmville. But truly, I never really heard much about the Kentucky Derby until I came to Colorado. And then, of course, fortunately enough, I met you from Kentucky. So
yeah, I know.
How is that?
It's a whole thing in Kentucky. So if you're not from Kentucky and you don't know much about the Kentucky Derby, let me enlighten you. So it's a 2-week kickoff. They literally start 2 weeks in advance with the largest fireworks show in the entire world.
Oh my God.
Look it up.
See, I never even heard this before.
I know. It's called Thunder Over Louisville. And of course, that's why I say it, Louisville. Funny fact, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and my boyfriend and his family is from Louisville, Colorado.
Oh, see, perfect match there already.
Yes, I know, except I say it a little different. But so home of the Derby, and what you do is they have a big kickoff. They do these things like a chow wagon. They do the balloon glow where they light up balloons, and they have a Pegasus parade, and it is
real life unicorns.
Real life unicorns. It is a literal. It's a literal what do I say? What am I trying to say?
Rodeo? Probably not like a rodeo, right? It's not bulls.
No, it's a literal holiday. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Even the Thursday or the Friday before, kids are off school.
Oh my gosh.
I think maybe we were off Thursday. I don't remember. But I know in high school, the Friday before, kids are off school because you have, of course, so the 2 weeks, right? So your first week is concerts and all these crazy things, and then the week of is when they open up the track. And so you have Derby, which is the Thursday before Derby, and that's all the locals. Hopefully I don't give that away for the locals, but that's all the locals. And I did that with my whole family, and that's a lot more chill, but still really fun. You get to wear the big fascinators and the hats, and you get to feel fancy.
Are you like, do you have to wear the hat to fit in, or is it?
Yes. Yes. I'm going to say, well, I think most people do it because it's so fun, and you kind of feel like you're back in the olden days, you know? And
Okay.
the men are all smoking cigars with their bow ties and what are those things on their
Oh my gosh, I should know this. Suspenders. There you go.
Suspenders. And so it's very fun. And then like the actual Derby, it was 150. So it was the 150th Derby. And that was super cool because, well, first of all, the day before is the Run for the Lilies. So that's the girl horses, the fillies. And and they do it for breast cancer. So they do this giant walk for all these breast cancer survivors. And then the Derby, of course, is the male horses. Female horses can race, but it's for the male horses. And like we go to the infield every year because, quite frankly, it's the cheapest way to go.
Okay.
It's way cheaper. You go into the infield and then you get to experience the race. And if you get there early enough, you can get right up to the gate and you can actually you can feel it as they go by.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. We went this year, I will say, we did go to a bar to watch the race, and I don't know if I should be sharing this on the podcast, but I definitely know that there was a guy there right in front of us that lost about $300,000 from the horse, the final race, whatever. You can tell I don't know much about it, but he was not happy.
Was
and
it
I know
Dave
that.
Portnoy? No, I'm just kidding.
But
That's
no,
crazy.
that's really cool. So as we got
Did he cry?
No, he was very like no smile, no talking,
emotion.
like don't talk to me, just let me have my peace and my quiet.
Oh, wow.
And no.
Yeah, I did not win any of the races, but yeah, it's a very big deal in Kentucky. And so, I mean, why am I telling you this? Because I'm telling you, put it on your summer bucket list.
I do really want to go. I do. You've inspired me to go.
But next year, and and a lot of people, like, there's arguments in the industry, like, they don't treat horses well, and like, yeah, I think there are definitely freak accidents that happen with these horses, but I always say, like, why would somebody spend $200,000 on a horse just to put them, like, you know what I mean? It's a sport, just like every sport, just like race car drivers. Anytime they get in a car, they're risking their life.
Absolutely.
There are definitely going to be things, but for me, like, I grew up and I mean, these horses are just beautiful and you can admire them. And it's the best horses in the entire world that come. Like, there's even horses that come from Japan. So if you ever have the chance to go, let me give you a little tip. Go to the infield. You're going to spend about $100 and take your own food and take a lawn chair. And let me tell you, it's literally like you're tailgating all day, but you're losing money.
Hey, that's okay. We kind of got to lose to win some, right?
Yeah. So that is my tip for you if you ever go to the Kentucky Derby. And, you know, you should, because it's a one in a life chance time. And it is kind of like one of those experiences that takes you back to the olden days, I like to say.
It reminds me of the movie Secretariat.
Gosh, that's such a good movie.
Is that like does that kind of put to life?
Secretariat was, all right, the horse nerd is coming out in me. Secretariat was a literal machine. He was the best horse to ever race. Like, he won the Triple Crown, which means 3 races in a row.
That doesn't happen, right?
It does, but it rarely happens.
Okay.
I think the last one that happened was 2018, but they win the Kentucky Derby, they win the Preakness, and then they win the Belmont. He didn't just win all 3 races. And the crazy thing about it is these horses normally race, like, to get ready for the Kentucky Derby, they have like a month to 2 months off.
Oh, okay.
And then usually a horse will take months off to recover because a race is really hard on their body. Now, if you want to become a Triple Crown winner, they're 2 weeks apart. It's incredibly hard on the horse, so that's why typically horses lose. And it was in the 70s when he won. I think it was 1976 or 77. And he won by like 15 or 18 lengths of horse. That's unheard of.
That's not, yeah.
His record has still not been broken. So and then they did an autopsy. I know he sired like 600 other horses. And then they did an autopsy when he passed away. His heart was 3 times the average size of a normal horse. So
oh my gosh,
he
the
was a
things I've
literal
learned.
machine. Yes. So that's my little down the rabbit hole about the Kentucky Derby. We'll come back to our bucket list.
We are going there together. I want to put on my floral
Yes.
dress and my little
Yes.
hat
And
and drink my
yes.
cute little cocktails.
Yes.
Okay, we're all down for that. But
right.
on the opposite side there, we're getting down and dirty with the camping.
Yes.
And that's really another opportunity here, especially if you live in Colorado or the mountain states, where I think it's a super affordable, cheap way to kind of get out. We say those weekend trips are the best,
Yes.
right? So kind of getting to go and unplug. We talk a lot about that here too, and just kind of being able to step away from your busy life and more so tune into you, right?
Yeah, I feel like I used to not like camping, and then I just don't think I did it enough. you
I
know?
just don't think I understood the idea of it. I think back when I was little, I mean, yes, I enjoyed it. We had a camper, we had all the cozy things, but I wasn't so much into tent camping, at least in Iowa, that I don't think that was so much of a thing. Coming out to Colorado, it opened up a whole new idea of camping.
Yeah, and the thing is, you really can camp anywhere. You don't have to live in Colorado.
No, it's so true.
You don't. You can camp. You know, if you live in Hawaii, you can camp.
You can go to Iowa and you can still camp. And if I learned how to camp like I do now, I think it would still be just as fun. And I mean, it would be more fun than what I used to think of it as. So,
and I think too, in Colorado, it's just one of those states that's, you know, you're kind of peer pressured to do that. They're like, you got to do this. You got to go here. You got to go there.
You got to be that granola.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what we are around here in Colorado. We're a bunch of granolas. But okay, so as far as camping goes, Morgan, what are some of the things you've learned since you started camping?
Oh, well, I can tell you for the first few times we went, we forgot all the important things. We didn't learn until after we made the mistakes that we
done that.
So, I mean, with my biggest tip, I think, of course, grabbing that group of people that's going to make you feel like home and going and sneaking away for the weekend. Like I said, camping really forces you to unplug and kind of tune into yourself and really have that relaxation time. I mean, of course, you're going to be out walking, going on hikes, but it's nature. It's
that unplug,
right?
Yeah.
So again, start with unplugging. Go into the weekend with that mindset. That's my first tip. Let yourself go. But then don't forget all the things that you need to make that weekend good.
There you go.
So, Court, I mean, I feel like what kind of tips do you have or essentials that you would think you would need to go camping?
Biggest tip I can give you is start in your notes app on your phone. Or if you have an Android, start a literal camping checklist that you should have every time before you go camping. And then if you're like, you get there, you're like, shit, we forgot the lanterns.
I literally just started a note page today for Moab that we're planning. I was like, I literally have forgotten trash bags before and toilet paper. I mean, like a fork. Like, how am I going to eat?
You're like, well, using my hands this weekend, folks. Literally. And then you're like, I'm just going to use my phone for the flashlight the rest of the time while we're here. And you're like, oh, I forgot there's no light in nature.
My charger? I don't need a phone, I guess. If a bear eats me, we're screwed.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest tip I'm gonna lean into that a little bit more is set that notes and do a camping list and make it something that you constantly go back to.
Yeah.
And you check it every single time. And I'm going to stick with that being my only tip because literally you can learn a lot from forgetting stuff.
That's true. Yep. I totally agree with that.
And what's funny is like sometimes like you don't remember it, like you don't get really good until the end of the camping season. Yep. And then when you have to start over again the next year, you're like, shit, I forgot everything again.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And then I also remembered too, I was like, towards the end of last season, I was like, I'm going to buy our sleeping tent, or not tent, but our pad. And I'm going to buy our grill and our new this and that.
Yeah.
And now that the new camping season's here, I'm like, shit, I should have done that last season.
You're like, oh, well, I forgot it. But that's okay. For Christmas, I got a ton of camping stuff, so I'm very, very excited to...
Good birthday presents, honestly. It is. So if you don't know what to ask for anymore, lean into that camping stuff.
Boyfriends, you know, and for guys, those are the best gifts, because no guy's going to be like, oh, dang it, you bought me a fishing rod.
Right,
you know?
Exactly. No, and I was just going to ask you too, I mean, even just with the idea of camping, I think for those bucket list ideas and just maybe going off and journeying a little bit farther than you're used to. I mean, even just as simple as going fishing, going hiking, going climbing. I mean, that's something you're going to try out in Moab, right?
Yeah.
You guys.
I've climbed before, but and what were you going to ask? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
more so, I guess, what are some other ideas or I guess tips that you have in terms of those different hobbies that you can also include while going camping or getting outdoors?
Yeah, I think climbing is one of the biggest things that you can do. But again, that is only if you're in a climbing state. But something that I did a lot in Kentucky at the Red River Gorge when I lived there was climbing. I mean, that is truly one of my biggest passions, is to go camp and then you walk to a crag. A crag is like a climbing spot. And then you unload and you climb all day long. It's a really fun thing to do. It's tough when you get outside. It's, my boyfriend and I are actually taking a class right before we go. So we're going to be we've been doing it for a while now, and I've climbed outside multiple times. It'd be very new for him. He's also climbed outside. We've done it. Yeah. But it's just like, last summer we did it with someone else, like just us two doing it kind of by ourselves and things like that. I think it's something like a new skill. One, is going to help you improve and grow as a person, and two, it's going to take you outside your comfort zone, which we always talk about here on the podcast. But the biggest tip that I say is find something that you like. If you like hiking, do hiking. If you like fishing, do fishing while you're there. Just something that you can do that takes you away from the campsite, because you're in the campsite, you're obviously in nature, even if it's bird watching. That's one of my favorite things. My husband
loves bird watching.
I love that for him. That's so cute.
Yes, and so does his cousin. I mean, he could tell you by the sound of the bird what kind of bird it is. He's gone so far.
Best friend is. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really cool. But I mean, I love that you touched on that, Court, because I think where I wanted to go with that too is that a summer bucket list, it doesn't have to be this whole big trip either, guys. It can really be those little things. I mean, such as, again, going on that hike that you've always wanted to. Maybe you can't do that every weekend, so maybe making that a goal for your summer. Go on a couple more hikes. Same with climbing. I mean, try, like Courtney said, find that passion and then chase after it. You might not like it after you do it, but put that on your bucket list. Don't be afraid of it. That's why it's there. Go try it out.
Yeah, and remember, if you're spending a little bit of your money to go travel and do something you love, money always comes back.
Yes, I do think that's a huge one that I want to touch on. I mean, especially when I was in college, I was someone I'm a yes girl. I'm going to try and do every opportunity that I'm invited to. And for me, I really, really spent that time going on trips with my friends, and I would get down to $0. I mean, I came back from a Colorado trip and was like, how am I going to eat the next day? Oh, gosh. But I will tell you, it was all worth it, because in the end,
you're like ramen noodles, baby.
Money comes back. I fully don't regret ever doing any of those trips. It's the experiences that I made that I think fulfills my life. Of course, do I want to go broke like that for every trip? Don't recommend doing that.
We're not saying don't pay your rent, okay?
No, okay.
Pay your rent first and then go on your trip.
But don't be afraid of saying yes. Don't let that always hold you back. And there are, of course, those cheaper ways and things that you can do that don't always involve that money too.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you just sleep in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we've had some nights where we woke up with a kink in our neck and shivers all over, but it's the memory that we made.
That's part of it, right? That's so fun. I love that.
So with summer coming up, I think there is also a lot of big holidays and things that do happen to come up in summer, with a lot with weddings, bachelorette parties, 4th of July, concerts, all the things here.
All the fun things on your bucket list.
So I know for me, I mean, this summer I get to go on my first bachelorette trip ever. And
your first?
My first one.
Love.
I mean, I of course
don't think I've been on one now that I think about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course I had mine and my own, but I think being in that position is a little different than getting to celebrate your loved one, right? And your best friend. So I am so excited to be able to get to explore that, go down to a spot in Florida, hang with the girlies, do all the things.
Where are you going in Florida?
I think it's that new I want to say we're going to that seaside.
Oh, I've been to Seaside. Beautiful.
Have you? Is it pretty?
It's really nice.
It's really nice. It's a popular spot for bachelorette parties now.
It's very, very nice. It used to be the popular spot for high school people.
Okay, that's
when
fair.
I was in high school. But
now there's.
I don't know if that was a Kentucky thing, but that was. Everybody in Kentucky went to Florida.
Did they?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in Iowa did too. I mean,
Yeah.
not maybe more so Orlando or the
Yeah.
popular spots, but no,
Seaside's so beautiful. You'll love it.
It's near Destin.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
and
It's
we went there for
past
college a lot. Okay.
It's past Destin, and what is cute about it is all these cute little homes, and it is expensive down there, but cute little homes, like really nice beach. And they say like Destin, that whole beach area, those are some of the nicest beaches in North America.
I can definitely attest
So-
to that. Destin is beautiful. The sand is great. I mean, it's a spot. I would prefer to honestly go there over most spots in Florida that I've personally been. But
Right. So we're talking about bachelorette and bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
What would you say is like the ideal gift to get the bachelorette for the bachelorette party? Or what is like your, favorite maybe gift or activity that you can't wait to do when you go there?
oh my God, all my favorite things are based off what my girls did for me, and they blew it out of the park. So
Really?
I know something for me when you're talking about a gift. I mean, for my girls, they of course bought me all the amazing gifts. The apartment itself was decorated so beautifully, so perfect. But it was this idea that I had during my bridal season where I actually told my girls I didn't want them to really have to buy me any expensive gifts. I didn't want them to have to think about it too much. And so what I had them do is I had them buy me an outfit, whether it was a shirt or if they wanted to do the whole set, pair of
That's
pants,
fun.
purse, but they got to kind of pick out something that I could wear on my honeymoon. And yeah, and so that kind of let
That's
them
new trend, ladies. Trend alert.
it
That's
allowed
so
them
cute.
to kind of see my person, like I got to see what they thought my personality was like from their perspective. Yeah,
That
and just
is
kind of
so
dress
cute.
me up.
So they got you like little outfits. I
Yeah,
love
like one of my
that.
friends did like all the accessories. Someone else got me like a cute little swimsuit cover up. We had all the skirts and the sets and the shirts. It was really such a good idea.
That's
Highly
cute.
recommend.
Okay, so what's a bachelorette no, Morgan?
So this is hard. I think
That's okay.
I think bachelorette parties are so fun and you can really get out there. But I think ultimately I'm going to go down to it starts before even the party happens. I think making sure you got the right people in your life, those that know you're supported by, those that are going to celebrate the heck out of you in all the ways that you're supposed to be. That is what's going to make your bachelorette trip the best. And so that no-no's cut out beforehand.
Don't be a pick me girl
No.
at someone else's bachelorette party.
Yes.
Let the bachelorette just freaking be. And like
let them thrive.
let
Be
them
there
be
for them.
and, like,
take care of them.
yeah, let them be and just let them be. That's all I'm gonna say there. But so concerts.
I think concerts is a big one too, guys. I mean, I'm sure most of us love concerts, and truly, I mean, I'm going to say it again, we're in a pretty great spot for concerts here with the Red Rocks and on all the things. I mean, you're going to Country Jam, right?
Yeah, that's not at Red Rocks, but I am
Okay.
going to Country Jam. It's my first time going. It's a country concert that they do. I don't know where it is, but it's a country concert in Colorado. I think it's like 4 hours away.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be really fun, and it's camping and the whole shebang.
So it's
we'll
music
see.
and camping.
Jelly Roll's going to be there.
Ooh,
so
that
I'm
should be
excited
fun.
to see him.
We
He's
did
a
have a-
headliner.
We-
I actually love his wife.
I honestly, it was funny because my husband, I was like, who's Jelly Roll? And I always forget who he is when he's brought up,
you'd
but
love him.
I think so too.
It's very, very like I would say he's a pretty strong Christian. He went. One thing I did see about him was he actually went to court and talked in court about fentanyl and addiction and
interesting.
his experience, because like he went to I think prison or something. I don't want to misstate what he happened, but something happened with him and drugs, and he talks about it. He has some really good stories about overcoming drug addiction, and his wife, Bunny is her name. She was an alcoholic and she doesn't drink anymore. And I love to hear her.
I love those stories. I love them so much. But very cool.
Yeah, so I like him. I respect him. I don't know too much of his music, but my favorite thing to do, and this is something I don't know, but I've told girls this before, is my favorite thing to do at any festival, any music festival, is actually to not know the music and walk around and be like, I like that sound, and go and be like, oh, I like this artist, and immediately write the artist's name down. And you don't know the songs, but you can remember them, or just learn who artists are. And that's how I find a lot of new artists, and I pick new music, and I'm like,
really
oh my gosh, they were so good live. I love them now.
I love that. No, honestly, that's a really great way. This is a bucket list item of mine, and I don't know if it will happen this summer, but I have always wanted to go to one of more of those like reggae, like,
there's a reggae festival here. I think it already happened because it's 420.
That usually, it makes sense. But no, that's like the kind of music where I feel like never be able to truly sing along to, but it's just like that groovy, you kind of listen to it, it allows you to dance. I'm not a dancer, so it'll put me in those vibes.
Good. Well, cool. Well, let's finish this up with 4th of July, our favorite thing for bucket list fun. Now
It's the best holiday.
You can do whatever you want for 4th of July. It's a great time to plan a little trip. So that's why we want to finish with this with a bang. Something my boyfriend and I have done for the past couple of years is we have a big 4th of July party. We do the whole shebang. It's like our 3rd year doing it, and
We love
so
parties.
fun. So that's our last tip on this bucket list is throw a party.
Yes. And I feel like 4th of July, it really is that last holiday, that kind of the last moment of the summer. It always feels like we're before school starts, it feels like you're kind of ending the summer, boating's starting to kind of wean out a little bit too, and all the things. So, make that 4th of July, make that holiday fun, get your
go on a
friends together.
boat, get a boat, have a party on a boat.
Definitely. Hey, if you're doing it in your backyard, even get a little tarp, get a hose going on there, throw some soap on there. You do a little like slip and slide, flippy cup action. That's always fun.
Well, those are all of our fun things on our bucket list this summer. And we hope that you took something away from this and that you can have something on your bucket list now. If you do, comment below, subscribe, follow us. Check us out on Instagram. What's our podcast name on Instagram?
Giggle and Grow Pod.
Yeah, Giggle and Grow Pod. Sorry about that. Check us out there and on TikTok, and follow us and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you guys soon.
Bye.